Rant review. Rant review. Rant review. Okay, let's get this started with this. Let me get this straight. Endeavor, who is basically the same blokes that made UFC, is now going to merge with WWE to form another group, which costed them $21 billion to form none other than TKO as part of the Endeavor deal with UFC and WWE merger, given the fact now that the McMahon family no longer owns WWE, now that WWE and UFC has been merged together. And this was on the news of the New York Stock Exchange for TKO to merge UFC and WWE at the same time, even though now that the merger has happened, Releases has been hitched, given the fact, even promising rumors as well. Given the fact, let's start off with the releases. Number one, we have Mustafa Ali. He requested his release before in the past, which declined, and now he's been released, given the fact he was supposed to face Dominic Mysterio at NXT TakeOver No Mercy. And then we have Rick Boogs. The only thing useful about Boogs is basically when he played guitar for Shinsuke Nakamura's theme, and yet he did compete for a bit. He teamed with a certain someone who will be number 3, none other than Elias. The only thing irrelevant about him is that 24/7 title, plus making good music as well, but he was a heel and face, which the whole Ezekiel thing was stupid. Very utter stupid. Next we have Aaliyah. Oh man, this version of Aaliyah was already useless to begin with back in NXT, but then she went up to the main roster, which thank God they know they're already rid of her anyway. Next we have Riddick Moss. The only thing useful about him is having a rivalry with Killer Cross. He had a few losses and one win over him with the help of his real-life girlfriend. All of a sudden, given the fact, yeah, well, they had to get rid of him. Out of all the people Triple H brought back in the entire hit row, and ironic, they only released Top Dollar, even though Michael hated him. I feel bad for both Shotty the Adonis and B-Fab. They get kept, and he gets released, even though Triple H brought him back. Shelton Benjamin, after being brought back in 2017 to team up with Chad Gable, and yet the only relevancy from him is being part of the Hurt Business. But that group already ended. Next, Riddick Moss's real-life girlfriend, Emma. Triple H went through all of his trouble to bring her back, and yet all his efforts for bringing her back were wasted. After all, after helping him get a win over Cross and Scarlett. This release stung everyone. Dolph Ziggler. He had one hell of a career back in WWE, and yet winning championships from the World Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental, United States, Tag Team, Soul Survival for Survivor Series for Team Cena. He had one hell of a career. Until this year, all of his efforts were utterly wasted. You will be missed, but will not be forgotten. Still the fact. Dabba-Kato. The only relevant about him is when he was on Raw Underground and then became Commander Aziz for Apollo Crews' Nigerian character. Like, literally, that's the only thing relevant about him. He never won a single title. Another waste of talent. Speaking of waste of talent, we have Dana Brooke. Okay. Like, literally. The only thing relevant about her was when she won that 24/7 title. And lurking with Reggie. Another talent wasted. Two halves of Maximum Male Models. That group was fucking stupid. Me and Asiro Sadanaka wanted them gone. And finally, those two got released, and Maxine Dupree is with Alpha Academy. Quincy Elliott. I don't know much about him, but he only barely appears on NXT, but now he got released. Bye-bye now. Shanky. The only thing relevant about him was for Super Showdown all of a sudden. But yet, they had to get rid of him. As for this one, I don't even know much. Even though I barely watch NXT more often. But, and same goes for WWE, but she got released. I believe is one of the other new guys who were lost to into Share, which is under the management of Jinder Mahal. He already got rid of. Ikemen Jiro. The only thing relevant about Ikemen Jiro is when he teamed up with Kushida to form Jacket Time, which already cut short for both of them. As for this one, she barely got any wins all of a sudden over, and yeah, she was released. She already got released. Another unknown talent I don't even know of, and yeah, I barely watch NXT barely often. Same goes for SmackDown and Raw, which the final one was going to be more ironic and upsetting due to a ghost of his past, Matt Riddle. He got released of the merger, given the fact, here's a kick. UFC suspended him for failing a drug test, even though he took marijuana in the past. And now, thanks to the merger, the ghost of his past haunted him, and they released him because of that failed drug tests. Yep. At least Triple H made some sacrifices, and yet, given the fact he's in charge of creative now, no more Vince, but yeah, he's still part of WWE, but yet at least WWE won a few new superstars all of a sudden. Yep. The one fresh out of AEW, Jade Cargill. She got an offer from WWE before in the past when she refused, but now, what made her change her mind to literally give her the opportunity? This literally shocked the fans all over when she signed with WWE. Who knows what good future she has with the business. Brian Pillman Jr., a.k.a. Lexus King. Before you guys rant about why saying that name sucks, but there's a reason behind it. The inspiration of the name Lexus King came from was inspired by his two deceased sisters, Alexis Reed and Skylar King. Who would have thought a name like that will be given honoring his two deceased sisters? Nick Aldis, a.k.a. Magnus. Who would have thought he will make the jump from Impact to WWE as a general manager? And yet he's married to Mickie James. He even fought Cody Rhodes at All In before in the past. Yep, who would have thought? From superstar to general manager for SmackDown while Adam Pearce owns Raw. Who knows what TKO has to offer when on the final Raw of the McMahon family era, they brought back Nia Jax. Who knows what they'll have in the future? They might bring back Kyrie Sane, and as rumored. Who knows what has to offer for TKO? Gamer Profile /V8 out.